Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our Springbok press conference. At the top table, we've got Coach Jacques Nienaber and Scrum Half Herschel Jantjies. We'll just do the usual. If you have a question, please raise your hand. And then once you have asked your question, please lower your hand. And then just say who you are directing your question to as well. And if I can ask to please just limit it to one question if possible. And if there is time, we will go on to further questions. By now, you would have all received the Springbok team. So I'll just go directly into questions then. We'll start with Mark Gleeson.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Coach, do you feel, a lot of these victories that you're getting are sort of right at the end, you're grinding it out and overpowering them with the bomb squad, etc. Do you feel maybe you'd like to be having a situation, this might be an opportunity to have it sewn up a little bit before that, or you think that's going to be the way that it's going to be in terms of the way the Boks play for all of these tour games?
Hi, Mark. I'm just checking you guys can hear me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mark, yes, listen, I think I think people forget that the Northern Hemisphere teams, or not people, I think if you look at Wales, and we said it before the game, they're the Six Nations champions. They lost one game at the death against France. So they almost would have had a Grand Slam, So it's a quality team with lots of experience. So and you will have to, away from home, grind out the win. It's going to be the same this weekend with Scotland. If you look at Scotland, if you look at the last 7 games that they've played, you look at the Six Nations and you look at the 2 games they played now in the end of in the autumn series. In the Six Nations, they only lost 2 games. They lost against Ireland away from home, and they lost against Wales, which won the Six Nations. And they lost Wales with a point. And they lost Ireland in Dublin, which is a tough place to go and win, with 3 points. So they've beaten Australia at home. It's quality teams you're playing at. I don't think it's anymore the case that, listen, the Southern Hemisphere comes over to the Northern Hemisphere and you play the top teams, and it's going to be, hopefully it's a 15-point and it's a soft landing for you and you can finish the game. But if it's in conditions like we played on Saturday, where it was raining from start to finish, I mean, it's going to be a grind. I just think it speaks well to the quality of the teams. If you play if you play them with all the internationals available, it's quality sides that we're playing against.
Jan de Koene.
Thank you, Zina. Hi, Jacques. Hi, Herschel. Jacques, if we look at the team selection, I mean, we know Wales play a specific game and they do a lot of kicking. We know Scotland do play a bit more expansive, if we may say that. Is your selections geared to that sort of tactics? Is there something we can read into that? Or is it literally just rotating because players need a break?
Yeah, obviously the 15 position was the injury-enforced change with Damien getting concussion. And the other 2, Franco Mostert and Elton, is just a rotational change. We said in the end of year tour, we are trying to continue building momentum and winning. It's always our first and utmost goal. But in doing that, getting some more game minutes in certain positions, in certain individuals. But yes, you're right. I think if you look at Scotland, they have a quality attacking team, but they also, if you look at their 9, their 10 and their 15, they British and Irish Lions, very experienced players. So their game drivers, I think it's going to be, they can rip us apart with their attack, or they can go a kicking game. When I went through the analysis and I looked at the game that they played against England, where they beat England in the Six Nations, I think they kicked 43 times, which is the most kicks that I've seen from them. So I guess we will have to be awake for whatever tactic they decide to use against us.
Nathan?
Zina, can I go one question each, please, if that's okay?
Yes, Nathan.
Thank you, Zina. Coach, I'll start with you. A big talking point this week was who would turn up at the back How tough was it choosing the back three who would go up against Hogg and Duan? You have Nkosi coming back and France having a blunder at fullback against the Six Nations champs last week. Then Fassi eager for some game time.
Yeah, listen, it's like I said last week, it's tough to get currently in this side, and obviously, like I mentioned, if you look at the Scottish team that plays, and you look at the 9, the 10, and the 15, like I said, they're all 3 British and Irish Lions players, so and quite established internationals for Scotland. So we've got a quite experienced back 3, and I think we're going to need all the experience we can in containing those 3 guys. So we must really do our prep during the week, and we really need to be sharp. But in saying that, if you look at the 15, we know Willie, who's played majority of our games there. Then if you look at France, Damien Willemse and Apelele Fassi, I think the amount of game time that those 3 players have had with us since June is pretty much split even. I think Apelele is on 240 minutes for us with the Springboks. That's including all the games that we've played since June. We were in the bubble. I think Damien Willemse is currently the least. So he's on probably 230 minutes, and then Frans Steyn is on 250 minutes, you know. So yes, Willie played majority of the games, but we're trying to get some game time, and it's a pity about Damien Willemse. It would have been nice to give him a little bit of a run. But that's the nice thing about France, you know, and speaks volumes of France. He knows what we're busy with. He's the older, established guy who you can always fall back onto. But in saying that, he allows us to give a little bit more game time into the youngest players coming to and trying to build squad depth as we build up to 2023.
Thank you, Coach. And then to Herschel. Last week was a tough outing for certain backs. Going up against Scotland, which areas would you guys be as a backline be looking to sharpen up, as the coach mentioned now?
Yeah, I think last week was really tough with the conditions. Hopefully this week it would be a bit better. It's still going to be cold. But I think for us as a team, it's just going to be to take the opportunity that presents itself and to make sure that we sharp on that and to not leave anything out there. I think last week we left a few points out there, or a few opportunities we didn't take. And hopefully this week we can be much more sharper and take that opportunities.
Craig Lewis.
Thanks, E. And hi, guys. Jacques, I just wanted to ask about Billy Leroux specifically. Obviously, in the final rugby championship game, he came off at halftime last weekend. He seemed to be performing a role as a water carrier and then returns to the starting lineup now. Just what's his sort of response and mindset been, perhaps with a slightly changing role, and just how he's reacted to, you know, perhaps some different things in terms of selection recently?
No, yes, Billy's been brilliant. And like I said last week, we said from the start, listen, when we say rotation, we mean rotation. And we had an open discussion in front of everybody. So it's not just me and Billy sitting and chatting, and then I talk with Apelele, and then I talk with Damien Willemse. We do it in front of everybody, the medics, the media people, the logistics people. So the whole team knows what is our plan going forward during this end of year tour, and then building up to 2023. So Willie knew that, and I made it quite clear. I said, listen, if we had to probably play a World Cup final last Saturday, which was the Wales Test match, we probably would have started with Willie. But we thought we needed to get some game time into Damien Willemse. And unfortunately, yes, he got concussed, you know, and otherwise it would have been nice to keep on building some game minutes into him. And Willie was, like I said, when I meant last week, I think I got probably misunderstood when I said it's this little project. Willie is not a project, or Damien Willemse isn't a project. The project is getting a guy like Damien, who's 23, playing international rugby, but Willie, with all his experience of 70 test matches, feeding some IP into Damien, showing him his processes that he follows during the week, talking to him next to the side of the field. So that's what I mean by a little project. It's almost getting experience. And that's a nice thing of our squad, where we currently have Kobus that will talk to Herschel next to me, or Frans Steyn that will give his experience to the younger players. We try and get the older guys to not hand over. They're not handing over because you can see how they perform, but it's almost to drip feed all the experience that they've built up over the years into the young players, so that they don't have to play 60, 70 test matches to get the same experience, that they can get it at a younger age. Yeah.
Valen?
Thanks, Zina. Hi, Coach. Hi, Herschel. Coach, it's going to be Frans Steyn. If he comes on to play, yet another cap for him. But I mean, he's just had the most incredible career, and his stat now is going to be 15 calendar years, so the oldest or longest serving Springbok. Can you maybe just share a couple of words on him?
Yeah, yes, Frans is brilliant. I think if you look at our selection policy, firstly, you gotta be aligned with the mindset of the Springbok team, and Frans is 100% aligned. Like I mentioned, now he came up, he played the second half against the All Blacks. And then after 12 minutes, he entered the field this weekend against Wales, and he put a man of the match performance in. But before that, he only played 186 minutes in the 10 test matches that we had available. So although he's there, although he knows, listen, we're giving other players opportunity, he's there fulfilling his role. So his mindset, it's tough he's still unbelievably competitive. So it's tough for him to sit there, but he knows his role, and he knows what we're trying to do as a group, and he bought into that. He's not selfish in that regard. He bought into the bigger cause of the Springboks. So it's not about him, Frans. It's about what's the best for the Springboks. And then, with that, I can't. He's over a 30 player, but he trains training sessions. I think. In this whole year, he maybe missed 2 or 3 training sessions in the beginning when we went overseas. He had a toe injury, and we managed him in 1 or 2 training sessions. But other than that, he's done every single minute on the training field. So he's not a guy that backs off training. Being 15 years in the game. He doesn't expect special treatment. He always trains, which is an awesome thing. And then obviously he's a brilliant rugby player. And again, experience counts for a lot, as you could see on Saturday with the performance that he put in. So to sum it up, great mindset, buying into it, the team's mentality, trains every single day, and then he's a good rugby player. Better than good at rugby player, brilliant rugby player.
Stephen, is your question in English or Afrikaans? Because we will have Afrikaans in the end.
Hi, Zina, if you want, I can leave it for Afrikaans. If you want to give other people opportunities, it's up to you.
Yeah, that's cool, Stephen. I think let's rather just do Afrikaans at the end. Grant.
Thanks, Zina. Herschel, you're starting with Elton this weekend. Tell us the story behind the matching tattoos and the on and off field relationship you guys have got, and then just in terms of the competition for places at number 9. It seems to be quite an exciting battle.
Yeah, I think Elton playing together this weekend, it's a nice personal thing, but I think the main thing for us is to go out and play quality rugby and to execute the plan that's been put out. About the tattoos, it's a personal thing, and I can't elaborate too much on it. Yeah, but the competition at 9, like it's been mentioned before, there's a healthy competition within the whole squad, not just at scrum off. I think, and then that's a good thing. It's maybe something for the coaches that they have to argue about and stuff. But I think for us as players, it's a good thing. It keeps everyone on their toes, and it can only bring the best out of the team. Guy like Faf has been helping me a lot. Guy like Kobus has been helping me a lot, and I think someone like Grant, who came in, is learning a lot from a guy like Kobus. hopefully from me as well, that's played a few test matches. So yeah, hopefully in the future we can see some of Grant as well, and we can even make that competition even more stronger.
Ashfaq, is your question in Afrikaans as well?
English, Zina.
You can go, Ashfaq.
Okay, thanks. Jacques, we've spoken previously about the growth of this team and moving on and trying different things as well. And last week, despite the driving rain, it was evident that there was certainly more intent on attack, even in your own half when it was on, the ball was moved. With Elton now also coming in at fly-off, what do you hope to see against Scotland? We know Scotland, how they play, but just in terms of your evolution as a team, particularly on attack.
Yes, I think Ashfaq. I think we always. I don't want to use the word balance because it's such a cliche word in terms of finding the balance. But we obviously, like Herschel, I don't know if it was here or other interview where he mentioned, listen, we want to take our opportunities. We felt that we definitely took some of our opportunities. You know, when it's on to run, even if it's in our own half, if it's on, we must take those opportunities. But there was some that we missed. So we constantly trying to improve our decision making and our awareness of when opportunity is given to us, that we take that opportunity. Yeah, so we continuously working on that. And in terms of Elton, yes, I think, and again, it goes back to, obviously we would know the stats, but if you look at Scotland, their coaches, and just talking a little bit about the test match that we're going to face this weekend, you know, Scotland has been the best defensive side in the Northern Hemisphere in 2020 and 2021. They conceded the least tries and the least points in the Six Nations. So they're a formidable side to break down. They don't concede a lot of points and a lot of tries, you know. So and that speaks volumes for Steve Tandy, who after the World Cup have joined Scotland, and again, Steve and Gregor both are British and Irish Lions coaches. So they coached against us in the British and Irish Lions series, where Steve was the defense coach and Gregor obviously the attack coach. So that's the quality of test match that we will face this weekend, and as players. So in terms of Elton, obviously we've done some analysis on them, and we feel that we identified some areas of opportunity. And obviously Elton coming in must fit himself into the bigger plan, into the team's plan. But then also Elton's got a specific skill set that he has, which he needs to find within our system and our structures. He must find a place for his skill set, because otherwise we could have selected somebody else. We selected him because he's got a specific skill set, and he must bring that out on Saturday.
Last English question before we switch to the Afrikaans section of the press conference is Sabu.
Thanks so much, Zina. My question's for Herschel. How are you, Herschel? My question's just on the partnership again, the halfback partnership with Elton. Obviously, you two are, have your unique characteristics, but you come against a very attacking team. Do you see that as an opportunity to show your skills, your eye for the gap? I'll recall the Australia game. I think you were on debut. You made it with Elton as your number 10. Is there trust there that you guys have developed? Obviously, you've come off the bench a few times as a pair. And do you are we looking forward to seeing a good 80 minutes attacking performance from you two?
Like I said earlier, whether I'm playing with Paulie at fly-off, whether I'm playing with Ella at fly-off, it doesn't matter who's at 10 with me or who I'm playing with. I know that guy's aligned with what we want to achieve as a team. And the plan is for us, it's just to execute the plan. And like Coach said, for us with our specific skill set to make it work within the structure. And I think it's going to be no different this weekend. It's again tough conditions. So for us, it's going to be to spot opportunity and to make sure when we take the opportunity that it's a positive result for us. Can I answer the full question?
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, I see our press conference, I've just realized, goes on until 12:10. So if there are further English questions, please let me know. If not, we can switch over to Afrikaans. No further English questions? Graham?
Hello, just a question for Jacques. Do you think Scotland's South African-born players will be more fired up for this challenge?
It's Graham. Yeah, Graham. Yeah, obviously they know us, and they, well, I believe so. I believe they would like to obviously put in a good performance, but not only because they play against South Africa. Because how I know South Africans, they're very loyal to whoever they serve, you know. So they would want to play well first and foremost for themselves, their families, and for Scotland, you know. And yes, we are. Although we're playing against them, and it's going to be a tough battle, and they know us and how we think and how we do things, because a guy like Piers Kuman and Duan, I personally coach at an under 20 level and at SA school level. So I've come a long way with them. Yeah, I think they would like to put in a solid performance. And even from our side, Graham, we are. People always ask, listen, how do you feel about South Africans playing for another nation? Yes, we're very proud of them. Because they are South African, you know. Obviously there was reasons why they decided they want to move on or want to try and experience international rugby with another country. But like Paul Willemse, we're proud of Paul Willemse, although he's South African, and but we're proud as South Africans for him playing for another country. You know, there was reasons why he decided to leave, and the same with the boys playing for Scotland. I was very happy for Kyle the other day when he scored I think 4 tries against Tonga. You know, so yeah, there's a couple of South Africans in the Scottish squad, and I think it's going to be a nice tussle, and there will always be a good test match between them, but I don't think it's in a negative way. I don't think they want to show that, yes, listen, they would play for Scotland and for their families and for themselves first and foremost, as we would.
Thank you.
We'll wrap up the English section with Graham McPherson.
Hi, Coach. Sunday was the first full house at Murrayfield since before the pandemic. How much do you think home advantage could be a factor this weekend?
No, home advantage is going to be massive. I mean, we experienced it this weekend playing in front of almost a capacity Principality Stadium, and it's going to be massive. But I must say, just from my personal view, yes, we enjoy it. It hasn't been. We haven't played in front of crowds for quite some time. We did play in front of crowds when we went to the Rugby Championship, but it wasn't capacity stadiums. There was a limitation on the amount of people that could enter the stadium. So it was an unbelievable atmosphere against Wales this past Saturday, and expect nothing more this weekend, you know, and that's why it will be a proper test match. The Scottish team would want to perform for their fans, you know, and they will grow an extra arm and a leg for their crowd and for their fans. So it's going to be it will be definitely a factor that we will have to deal with, and we're looking forward to it. Yeah, the challenge.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That concludes the English section of our press conference. For our international media, you are more than welcome to log off. But at the same time, if you would like to remain on the call, please do. We will start with Stephen Nel in Afrikaans.
Dankie Zina. Hallo Jacques, hallo Herschel. Lekker om julle te sien. Jacques, daar's 'n algemene wysheid. Baie kenners met na die leesreeks kommentaar gelewer dat Warren Gatland het 'n fout gemaak deur nie vir Finn Russell in die toetse, ek weet net die laaste toets meestal gespeel, maar dat hulle moes meer aangeval het en hulle meer aanvallende benadering gevolg het. Is dit, dink jy dit is korrek, of is dit, want dit is so ook asof dit omtrent julle brood en botter is as wanneer mense op julle probeer hardloop, maar wat is jou gedagte daaroor?
Yes, ja, Steven, ek's nie 100%, ek dink Finn het 'n besering gehad. Ek dink hy het gesukkel met 'n Achilles besering. En ja, hy het die laaste toets teen ons gespeel toe ek dink hy het van die bank af gekom, maar vroeg in die wedstryd of vroeg in die eerste helfte. En ja, Finn is 'n uitstekende speler en hy het die full repertoire tot sy beskikking, jy weet, baie goeie aanvallende speler. Goeie skopspel, kan goed hardloop, show and go, goeie show and go, goeie distribusie. So ja, dit gaan 'n lekker toets vir ons wees. En eers weet jy, is my moeilik om kommentaar te gee oor die Lions en hulle taktiek, want ek het nie 100%, ek het ook daai gesprekke gehoor wat jy nou sê, Steven, maar ek weet nie of dit waar is nie. Ek weet nie of hulle dit werklik die gesprekke tussen hulle in die kamp was nie. Ek dink dis maar bespiegelinge. So ek weet nie, is my moeilik om 'n kommentaar te gee of het hulle die regte taktiek gebruik of nie. Ja, maar dit sal, soos ek gesê het, ek het vroeër in die Engels gesê, dit gaan interessant wees die naweek, want weer eens Skotland het toe hulle Engeland gewen het by Twickenham in die 6 nasies, het hulle 43 keer geskop in daai wedstryd, wat die meeste skoppe is wat ek in seker 2 jaar gesien het in een wedstryd. Is net hulle alleen het 43 keer geskop. Ek dink die Engels het iets soos 35 keer geskop. So daar was 'n klomp skoppe in daai wedstryd. So ja, maar ons weet hulle het 'n goeie aptyd vir aanval. Die Skotte, so ons verwag maar 'n aanvallende spel teen ons en ja, dit met die kwaliteitspelers wat hulle het in terme van Ali Price, Finn Russell en daar's klomp van hulle, maar ek noem nou maar die ouens wat Britse en Ierse Lions gespeel het en Stuart Hawk, gaan dit gaan 'n formidabele taak vir ons wees op verdediging.
En dan net die span wat jy gekies het is interessant, want uiteraard Frans het 'n skitterende wedstryd beleef nadat hy opgestuur is. Kyk jy hom net na terugval opsie vir die seisoene wat kom, is hy nog onseker of hy sal gaan tot by 2023 of hoe presies pas hy in die prentjie, want mense sal uiteraard sê dat as hy pyp gespeel het teen Wallis, waarom is hy nie net dan in die span nie?
Ek dink ja, Frans was uitstekend geweest teen Wallis en hy was uitstekend geweest teen die All Blacks. Maar weer eens Frans verstaan, soos ek het dit nou in Engels gesê, ons het 'n spesifieke plan wat ons met die hele groep bespreek het toe ons op toer gekom het en gesê, luister hier, dit is wat ons gaan probeer beoog. Jy het altyd 'n plan, maar daar's altyd dinge wat gebeur, soos Damian Willemse wat nou ongelukkig konkussie gekry het. En almal het so half hulle plekkie in daardie plan. So al speel jy nie, het jy 'n spesifieke rol wat jy moet vervul. As jy op die bank is, het jy 'n spesifieke rol wat jy moet vervul. As jy die geleentheid kry om te begin, het jy 'n spesifieke rol om te vervul. En daar's nie 'n geweer teen jou kop van jy moet perform nie. Uit die aard van die saak wil ons elke toets wat ons vir ons land speel, wil jy graag wen. So met dit as jou hoofdoel het ons 'n paar ander kan ek sê doelwitte gestel vir onsself. En Frans weet wat ons plan met hom is en ek dink hy kan gaan tot by 2023, jy weet, maar verseker dink ek hy kan gaan tot by 2023, maar jy weet dit hou maar 'n bietjie geluk nodig. Hy moet op vorm bly. Hy weet dit en soos julle kan sien, soos wat hy gespeel het Saterdag, hy is op vorm. Hy moet sorg hy bly fiks. Ek praat nou van medies fiks. Hy moet nog steeds in lyn bly met dit wat ons by die bokke wil hê, jy weet, in terme van sy mindset. Daar's 'n groter plan en ons almal dien maar eintlik maar die Springbok span. Jy weet, van afrigters, bestuur, spelers. So jy moet inkoop in daai plan en Frans doen dit skitterend op die stadium.
Percy?
Baie dankie Zena, goeiemôre maniere. Sien ek net seker maak, daar's geen embargo's op coach en Herschel Jantjies nie. Is daar enige ander spelers om te praat vandag?
Nee, dis net hierdie Percy, ons het weer môre 'n perskonferensie.
100%. Sien ek kan ek vir Jacques en vir Herschel vraag in Afrika kans vra?
Reg so Percy?
Ek sê vir baie dankie Zena. Coach, ek gaan nie heeltemal vra om te verduidelik oor hoe die span gekies was nie. Ek wil net jou vra, en ek vra die vraag maar bietjie met 'n tong in die kies, van waterdraer tot in die laaste vesting van die Springbok span weer. Daar moet dan baie vertroue getoon word in Willie Leroux en sy ervaring. Net so kortliks, hoekom het julle soveel waardering en soveel vertroue vir Willie Leroux? En dan Hussel, weer eens ek vra vir jou 'n snaakse vraag en asseblief moenie vir my lag nie. Is jy en Elton Jantjies dalk familie of deel julle maar net van hom? En net kortliks, daai verhouding tussen jou en Elton Jantjies, hoe gaan daai verhouding hierdie naweek oorgedra moet word in hierdie wedstryd teen Skotland? Ja, Hussel, kan jy ook sê, het jy al voorheen teen Skotland gespeel in Skotland?
Okay, waar begin ek? Ja, my en Elton se verhouding, ek dink is dit 'n goeie verhouding van die veld af. Ons het obviously baie lank saam gespeel. Ek dink die laaste keer wat ons 'n game saam begin het was in die World Cup teen Namibië, as ek dit reg het. Maar dit verander niks. Ek dink ons koppe bly nog steeds daarop om die plan uit te voer die naweek en 'n goeie game te speel. Dit help obviously met die communicasie skills en die build-up tot die game, en waar ons mekaar kan help en mekaar kan aanvul. En dan op die vraag of oor ons familie is, nie wat ek van weet nie, nie dat ons familie is nie. Ja, ons joke baie daaroor, maar ons is glad nie familie nie. En ja, ek weet nie, beantwoord dit, is daar nog iets wat ek gemis het?
Het jy al self in Europa teen Skotland in Skotland gespeel?
Nee, en ek het nog nooit in Skotland gespeel. Ek het ook nog nie teen Skotland gespeel, so dit sal my eerste keer wees wat ek teen Skotland speel, ja.
Ek dink dis jou eerste noordelike halfrond ervaring.
Dit is my eerste end of year toer,
ja. So dis die eerste keer, ja, Percy, en dis die eerste keer wat van ons spelers nou in hierdie toestande speel, en ons het dit laas ook gesê, jy weet, met die oog op Frans 2023, jy weet, die World Cup finaal, ek dink is hier so einde November, so ons sal ons poolwedstryde speel, min of meer in hierdie tyd. Ek dink poolwedstryde gaan bietjie vroeër wees, maar die kan ek sê knockout rugby gaan min of meer in hierdie toestande gespeel word. So dit is alhoewel ons elke wedstryd wil wen, wil ons nog en ek gaan sommer in Willie se antwoord in. So alhoewel ons elke wedstryd wil wen, het ons nog steeds 'n spesifieke plan. Ons wil sekere spelers gewoond maak in hierdie toestande, want baie van ons spelers het nog nie in hierdie toestande gespeel nie. En dis wat gebeur het met COVID in 2020 toe ons nie internasionale rugby kon speel nie en ons kon nie noordelike halfrond toe kom nie, en so baie van ons spelers, die wat nie in die noordelike halfrond rugby speel nie, sal nie gewoond wees aan hierdie toestande nie. En dan ja, oor Willie, ja nee, baie vertroue in Willie. Ek het dit laasweek ook gesê, jy weet, en nou ek hoop deur wat ek voorheen gesê het, sal jy verstaan wat ons idee is met 'n ou soos Damian Willemse om hom geleentheid te gee om in hierdie toestande te speel. Maar ongelukkig het hy nou konkussie gekry, en ek het laasweek ook gesê, jy weet, dit was bloot rotasie. As ons laasweek Saterdag nou teen Wallis, as dit 'n wêreldbeker finaal was, sou ons 10-1 met Willie Leroux gestart het. So dis hoe baie vertroue ons in Willie het, en selfs as jy kyk hoe ons die spanne, hoeveel wedstryde hy vir ons hierdie jaar gespeel het. Maar ons weet ons moet ook diepte bou in ons groep, en ek het dit nou in Engels gesê, en as jy kyk die heel agters wat ons op die toer het, Willie uit die aard van die saak het meeste van die wedstryde gespeel, maar dan tussen Damian Willemse en Apelele Fassie, jy weet, Damian het so 230 minute gespeel hierdie jaar vir ons by die Springbokke, en Apelele Fassie 240. So jy kan sien daar hulle is baie dieselfde hoeveelheid minute gekry van Junie af onder ons in ons groep. So ja, alhoewel ons elke wedstryd wil wen, en wil ons ook 'n bietjie groei kry in die jonger spelers wat in ons groep is, en soos ek sê, dit is ongelukkig nou met Damian wat konkussie gekry het. Maar ja, hopelik is hy weer reg vir volgende week.
Heinz?
Dankie Zina. Goeiemiddag julle. Jacques, net om Elton. Daar was vorige jare baie gepraat oor hom op internasionale vlak. Jy weet, baie mense het gevoel hy het nie noodwendig sy spelpyl oorgedra van die Lions na die Springbokke toe nie, maar ek dink mense kan redelik met veiligheid sê dat sedert julle aan die stuur was weer van 2018 af het hom regtig gevestig as 'n baie betroubare internasionale speler en dinge. En jy het genoem dat hy 'n baie spesifieke skillset inbring in hierdie wedstryd in, maar hy is ook bewus van die breë template, jy weet, waarna hy moet speel. Dink jy dit is die sleutel tot sy sukses nou as 'n internasionale speler, dat hy bewus is van, jy weet, daar is 'n patroon waarna hy moet speel, maar julle gee hom eintlik die vrye teels om homself uit te druk binne daai patroon. Is dit die balans wat mens eintlik moes handhaaf om Elton, jy weet, te laat gedei op internasionale vlak?
Ja, ek dink vir al die spelers, nie net Elton nie. Ek dink 'n patroon is eintlik daar wanneer daar nie ander opsies is nie. Wanneer jy nie voorvoetbal het nie, wanneer die bal stadig is, wanneer die verdediging beter georganiseer is as die aanval. Dan is daar 'n patroon sodat almal weet, okay, wat gaan ons nou doen? Want ek dink as jy in 'n patroon ingaan, dan beteken dit jy's nie op die voorvoet nie. Ons probeer eintlik so min as moontlik in 'n patroon inkom, want dit beteken luister jy's op die voorvoet, jy het momentum. So ja, ek dink ons probeer nie in 'n patroon inkom. Ons kom net in 'n patroon in as ons nie momentum het nie. Ek dink dit is wat Elton vir ons bring, jy weet, en Andre, jy weet, as dit anders maar as dit anders moet hulle die sneller kan trek en die geleentheid speel. Maar in toets rugby en veral Saterdag, ek het klaar melding gemaak van hoe goed hulle verdediging is, of hulle goeie, as jy kyk na hulle verdediging in die laaste 2 jaar, is dit die beste in die noordelike halfrond, hulle minste punte en minste 3 afgestaan. So ek dink die prentjie wat ons meer gaan sien is hierdie georganiseerde verdediging. So dan moet jy terugval op 'n patroon net om jou weer 'n bietjie voorvoetbal te kry of om bietjie momentum te bewerkstellig. So ek dink dis nie net vir Elton nie, dit is vir elke speler. En ons kyk, weet jy, dit klink nou prakties maklik maar ja, dit is nie so eenvoudig soos dit nie, en ons kry dit baie keer verkeerd. En dis waar ons baie keer sal ek sê waar dit lyk waar die geleenthede aan is, maar ons vat dit nie. Dis nie dat die spelers gesê is, luister, jy moet in 'n patroon bly nie. Partykeer sien hulle dit nie, partykeer voel jy druk, partykeer is daar nie kommunikasie van die buitekant af nie. Maar as daar geleenthede is, wil ons dit altyd vat. Ek hoop dit beantwoord jou vraag.
Baie dankie.
We've got time for one more question, ladies and gentlemen. So, Stephen, is that a fresh hand or is that an old hand?
Ja, asseblief nog enetjie vir Herschel asseblief, Zina. Herschel, jou uiteraard nou, en dis interessant wat Jacques nou gesê het in terme van, jy weet, hoe julle nog in die groter prentjie daarna kyk, en dan dit is eintlik jou eerste ervaring dan nou van toets rugby in die noordelike halfrond. En wat 'n wonderlike kans is dit nie nou vir jou hierdie naweek nie, want jy en Elton, jy weet, julle gaan waarskynlik speel oorkant Ellie Price en Finn Russell, en dit seker 'n uitdaging waarna jy geweldig baie uitsien, en hoe dink jy gaan julle getoets word?
Ja, ek dink soos Jacques vroeër gesê, is goeie spelers, is ouens wat in die Britse en Ierse leeu's toer was, en hulle bring 'n spesifiek skillset na die game toe. Ou soos Finn Russell het uit 'n groot bag of tricks. Maar weer eens om te veel op 'n ander ou te fokus, gaan nie vir my en vir Elton help nie. Ek dink vir ons is dit die main en belangrike ding is om 'n line te bly en om mekaar te verstaan op die veld en die plan uit te voer, en soos coach gesê het, is die opportunity itself available maak, is dit op ons om die opportunity te spot en dit te vat. En ek dink dis ultimately die ouens wat die span wat dit gaan sien en dit gaan gryp. Dis die span wat ek dink die beste result gaan kry op die dag.
En wat maak jy?